Hello student, greetings and welcome back. And today we are going to do what is this paper 2019 October November paper, paper variation 62. Okay, so there are 61, 62 and 63 depending on your region and your time zone. So you will have a certain country will have a certain variation of paper, but in terms for practice it doesn't really matter because it is still good enough because there's a lot of questions that we can practice. Let's look at question number 1. When I look at the question, it's like so long. I'm like, okay, student investigate the concentration. Maybe you want to take a highlighter or pen to highlight the question. To investigate the concentration of vitamin C in A and B. So we want to know A and B, which one got more vitamin C. What they want to do is they want to use iodine solution to determine the concentration of vitamin C. So if more vitamin C, it means that the solution is more blue-black. So these are at least the certain concept that we want to understand when we read this question. So the more iodine to make it blue-black means there is the higher concentration of vitamin C. So more iodine needs to be put for it to blue-black. There is the more higher concentration. The reason is because I think this one also is not mentioned in the book. They only mention at here. That's why they give you the relationship. Okay, more iodine means if the concentration is higher because it is more blue-black. So we didn't read this in book, but they give us, so we need to maybe plan the experiment or to test out the experiment. Okay, so now we got two solutions ready. Okay, we are not going to read this. Let's look at the table. Okay, experiment 1, experiment 2, experiment 3, and they put the iodine solution, and here is supposed to be empty lah. So let's dive into the first question. Record the data. So the answer is 8.5. So the student get 1 mark. 8.5. Don't put 8.0 or 8.6 okay, because you need to make it to 0.5 or 0.0. So the student did it correctly. 8.5, you get 1 mark. Calculate the volume and calculate the average. So the student also did correctly. 1.5. 2, the student get total of here is bonus 3 marks. So the first 3 questions is quite easy. The second question, the student repeat it with fruit juice B. So now we finished with fruit juice A already. It's around 2. So let's try with fruit juice B. Calculate the average volume that needed. So the answer is the student only get 1 mark for this one. Okay, calculate the average volume of iodine needed for B. The answer is actually 0.5 because they consider 4.5 is the anomaly data. Means you couldn't get 4.5 because it is something that is anomaly. Means it's weird lah, but anomaly result. So supposed to be only we use 0.5 plus 0.5 divided by 2. So your answer supposed to be 0.5. So I think this one also is wrong lah, because 0.5 plus 0.5 is supposed to be 0.5 supposed to be at here. So this one also is wrong. 0.5 at here, because if you look at the answer scheme, it mentioned average calculated. Of course this is average, but this is a wrong average, and the answer for the average is 0.5. Here is written the marking scheme, outlier excluded. Outlier excluded means the data is excluded, certain thing is excluded, which I assume he didn't mention what, but I assume it's 4.5 lah. 4.5 is excluded from the data. State what can be concluded about the concentration of vitamin C. Concentration of vitamin C is A is higher. As long as you say something like A is higher, because the student put 1.83 but here is 2. So A is higher than B, but though the answer here is wrong, but here is still correct. So the student get 1 mark. Calculate the concentration of vitamin C using it, and a very straightforward question. You do, you get formula 1 mark. Remember to do the formula. Answer with the unit 1 mark. So you got 2 mark. So you get 2 mark here. Suggest one speed of apparatus to measure liquid. So you use burette. Okay. Show a fruit. Ask you to draw, and for I'm amazed for this question. Actually say 3 mark. So 1 mark is for when you draw the picture, it must at least 5 cm. So assuming here got 5 cm lah. So the student get it correct for this one. 1 point. Must at least the segment is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, this one the segment also wrong one. Oh my goodness. Then the student also didn't get mark for this because the segment is wrong. We can calculate or not? Wait, let me draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 segments. But the student didn't do 10 segments. I gave mark because I didn't count. Now I count that. Wait, why not same? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the segment is wrong. Another one is also wrong because another mark is for the pit and center shown. So you must show the center. Maybe here the mark say but I cannot get the notes. But probably it's like this I don't know how to draw, but it must be something more like this a bit. Okay, because the marking scale say that center is shown. Because you look at the orange center, there is something in the middle here. Okay, if I'm not correct, then you put at the comment below but I think it's correct because the marking scheme say that 1 mark is awarded for the center shown. So there's the center for the orange. So the student only get 1 mark for this question. Yeah. Really wasted. But this is supposed to be an easy question. Name the region that we use to measure the pressure of protein. Burette, correct. Burette is to measure protein. A student has a sample grain powder of E. The student didn't get any mark for this one. Okay. Basically we need to imagine what the question asking. Wow, seriously, I really feel this question is not easy. Seriously, it's not easy. Because we need to imagine what the person is doing. Okay, let us read the question again. She placed a small amount of powder E into a test tube and you heat it. Okay, you heat it. I don't know what powder, but it must be something. The bubble formed from the bubble that the gas formed in lime water. The bubble that she bubbled the gas from the lime water. She bubbled the gas into the lime water. So it's more like UK language. She bubbled the water because Malaysian don't usually say she bubbled the water. But what it means is actually when she says she bubbled the water means it's something like that. She want to take the bubble out from the gas. Maybe it's from UK language, is it? To form in the lime water in a test tube. She bubbled the gas form into, so he put into a lime water in a test tube, and the lime water turns milky. So knowing means the thing is actually got carbon dioxide. Okay, because carbon dioxide, so we know the gas carbon dioxide. Label and draw the diagram. So of course the student didn't do correctly, okay, because he put a straw. Delivery tip is this one. So it should be, I think the thing is calcium carbonate So the picture will be something like this, but the student do wrong already, so I just erase it so you won't get confused. You should draw something like this, okay? The fire. You don't want to draw the fire, cannot. You just draw arrow. You just write heat. Then it's easier. Okay, heat the this is the, you don't write calcium carbonate this you write powder E. Okay, powder E. Okay, powder E, boiling tube, bung, delivery tube. Wait, let me read the question. The lime water turns milky. So actually it's supposed to be like this. Can I erase this one? Oi, where's my thing? Wait, I want to erase this one. So let me try to draw it. See I can draw or not. Supposed to be like this. Lime water. Up to you lah, because the question didn't mention to collect, because the picture I show is actually collecting the volume of the gas. The lime water turns milky because she bubble into the lime water ma. So I just draw lor. She bubble into the lime water, and that should be it. Label and draw the diagram. So I just label it, and it should be correct. But what I like to do is maybe I like to draw a table lah, because I don't know this what last time my teacher teach me one. And here I draw the thing to make sure that the thing is standing. Okay, up to you lah. I prefer to draw like this. The reason is for SPM science. Sometimes you don't draw this thing there, the minus mark. But for IGCSE, I think this thing doesn't really matter. So, but it's still the habit of mine lah. State the identity of carbon dioxide because it turned here already mentioned, it turned the lime water into milky. So that is the presence of carbon dioxide. State the identity of anion. When we talk about the anion, is actually the negative side of the metal, correct or not? So when we're talking anion, we are not talking about the positive, we are talking about the negative one. Okay, so it will be carbonate. Okay, we're assuming it's calcium carbonate, the thing calcium carbonate, so it will be carbonate. And if I'm not mistaken, calcium carbonate is also the lime water. What you need to do is you take the lime water and you mix with water, and it become like lime water. So you also can do lime water by using this. So it's the same thing, if I can say, correct or not? Because here say lime water, but if I take calcium carbonate, mix it with water, I get back the lime water. The student place the this is, I think, is very difficult question, and also a question that I am scared the most, because here is referring to a chapter that how to test the substance. Okay, let's read this question, and we need to deduction and logical thinking to roughly guess. The reason I say roughly, because if you don't roughly means you memorize the whole thing. The one that don't know what chapter in the textbook, there's a mind map and you need to memorize the whole thing. So even for me, usually I just roughly has a thinking in my head. Roughly we need to know that calcium carbonate is calcium oxide is black color, copper oxide is copper sulfide is blue color. So these are the few things that we know, which is commonly known. The student place a black powder. So here already say a black powder F in a dilute solution and heat it. She filter the mix in test tube, liquid X and 2 test tube in the solution in the solution G is blue color. So G is a solution, is a blue color. She add aqueous sodium hydroxide to 1 test tube of solution G. A pale blue precipitate is formed. She performed a flame test on the sample of G in the test tube. The flame color she observed is blue-green. So what we can see is identify the cation for G, E, and F. So when we talk about cation means it must be positive ion. So positive ion, then it will be copper. Okay, the reason is black powder is associated with copper oxide, and solution blue is associated with copper sulfate. Okay, a carbon. So state the identity of F and G. So it will be copper oxide Okay, because copper oxide is black color, and G is copper sulfate. Okay, because it's a solution of blue color. Okay. Okay, so and another thing that we need to know, for example, we need to memorize this picture so we can see that like the question mentioned, add aqueous sodium hydroxide and blue precipitate is formed. So when you add sodium hydroxide and if it is blue, then we know it is copper. If it is brown, then it is ferrum 3 plus. If green, then it's ferrum 2 plus. So you just remember this lah, huh? When we talk about adding sodium hydroxide, if it is blue, then it will be copper. If brown, then it will be what? But if no precipitate, then it could be calcium, magnesium, aluminum, or zinc. So yeah, this is the question that we need to memorize. But if you memorize this, then I think it will be quite easy, a bit easier lah, huh, to do this question. You memorize this diagram. Yeah. But of course for this one, a few things that we need to know is roughly lah, huh, we also need to know a few things when doing this question. For example, we must know that copper sulfide is blue, copper oxide is black. I think you still remember, right? Copper sulfide is blue, copper oxide is black. So roughly, if you know this, you also can do this question. So you need to know this chapter and also some of the other chapter experiment. Then roughly you guess and you should able to get the answer. Okay, but this is the most proper technical way to do this question lah, huh? The proper technical way. But I just do this based on experience. So yeah, depend on you lah, huh? Fizzy drink are fizzy because they have carbon dioxide dissolved in them. Let me take a highlighter. The question is very long. It's very good to take a highlighter. Okay, the carbon dioxide dissolved in the 100 pressure. The carbon dioxide started to bubble out. Okay, of course, when you drink the Pepsi or Coca-Cola, there is a bubble, and the bubble actually is what? The bubble is carbon dioxide. That is why it makes you drink, you feel comfortable. But actually it got nothing to do with your the gas, nothing to do to your body, because as you drink there's carbon dioxide and the carbon dioxide just come out from your body, and but somehow it just produce this feeling of sensation, so you just feel relaxed just because it's a carbonate drink. But it won't really that affect. The effect is the sugar, of course, the sugar, the aspartame, the chemical that they put in, but the carbon dioxide don't really affect your the digestive system. The drink will eventually go flat, fizzy in the carbon dioxide. This will happen if you drink and pour into the glass. Let me read one more time. The carbon dioxide will start to leave the drink. Okay, the drink will eventually go flat. Or go flat means not fizzy. My English not that good. Need to read 2 times. And when all the carbon dioxide is left, okay, so no more gas already, the drink, so it's not nice already. This will also happen if the drink pour into a glass. So of course you pour into the glass, the gas also will, after a while the gas also will move to other places, then the taste of the Pepsi and Coca-Cola not that nice. Let me adjust a bit. The drink will lose its carbon dioxide. Plan an experiment to compare the amount of dissolved carbon dioxide. Of course, this one you can do by yourself. Not necessarily you need to buy Pepsi or Coca-Cola, but if you look at YouTube, they got teach you how to make carbonate drink by getting to know the bicarbonate, soda, bicarbonate, and you know what you do lah. Then you can do actually a soda drink in your own house. You may use a common laboratory apparatus like, so you want to compare, I think. Want to compare lemon soda, orange soda, and sparkling water to see which one has more soda. So what you want to do, here they didn't mention what you want to do. So of course the experiment didn't mention how to do it, and we need to think ourselves how to measure the gas. So the student do very good, because the student say that he want to measure the volume by using a gas syringe. So basically it's something like that. Maybe I put test tube A, test tube B, test tube C, then I put a syringe and I put a bung and I collect the gas, and that's how I can, for example, to collect the gas. So each one also got 1 point. So the student do very good because the student mentioned it in sequence. Okay, so let's do the apparatus needed. So maybe you must imagine the diagram in your head. Okay, something maybe like a test tube, a syringe, a bung, and maybe you want to heat it up so that you can get the thing faster a bit, the gas faster a bit. But if you don't want heat it up also can. You can leave it for 3 days, and also it's the same thing after you leave it for. So up to you. Okay, there's no absolute answer but you can do whatever you want as long as you collect the gas. Okay, if you don't want to use the syringe, maybe you want to use a delivery tube, maybe what this thing called, the beaker, upside down beaker, or you can also the gas, whatever thing up to you. Okay, doesn't necessarily is a syringe, right? It can be I just put a water, a delivery tube, and I can put something to cover it to collect the gas. Up to you. Okay, so there are many ways to do this. So when the examiner will mark. There's also a marking scheme but some students will stuck at this question. But what I want to say is you need to able to imagine the picture in your brain. I hope that you understand now because I didn't draw, but I hope you can understand what I'm talking about. Must imagine it, then you explain the diagram in your mind, picture in your mind. For me I don't know even for you or not, but for me then it just work that way. Okay, so the student already know, because when I read this I know the student understand. When examiner read something like, oh okay, this student know what he or she talking about, because when I read, then you know this student don't know what they are talking about. Okay, then you get very low mark when examiner read and the student don't know what they are talking about. Okay, so apparatus needed. Okay, so very good. Put at least 3 or 4. So you put beaker, gas syringe, measuring cylinder is a common thing. Test tube, weighing scale, flask, heating apparatus, many more, but 3, 4 should be enough. Okay, so you get 1 mark for this one. A brief discussion. So this one usually I recommend you to write more, because a method usually will consist more mark because it is longer. Okay, so maybe before you do, you need to think your marking mark. So imagine this one you put 1 mark, this one you put 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6 mark. But the answer here is 7 mark. So you need to get 1 more mark. So probably the method 1 mark and the precaution there's 1 more mark. So roughly you want to give 1 more precaution, 1 more mark. Maybe how you will control. Maybe you want to put this one more. Let's say you want to put more. And how you process the data, maybe you also can put more. Okay, up to you. Okay, it should be more than 7 mark. So you need to roughly think in your mind how the marks allocation and which point that you want to put in more marks. Okay, sometimes apparatus also can be 2 marks, so you need to, up to you, you need to do the allocation first. Okay, so pour a fizzy drink pour some volume of the fizzy drink, heat it up and measure it. I heat it up, you get 1 mark. Let me see, is it measure it also take 1 mark? Okay, you say like this, you get 1 mark. When heating, be careful. So the student are saying safety precaution, so the student get 1 mark for this point. Variable to be keep constant. The measurement that you will be take. Actually, they are saying about the measurement that you take. So it's supposed to be you want to measure the amount of carbon dioxide, but the student say to be keep constant the time and the heat and the temperature used. Also I give correct but it's supposed to be because the question say measurement you will make so the measurement that I want to make is the manipulated variable. So that's why you need to be careful because obviously they are talking about the variable. So for me, if I answer, I will say, let's say I want to say manipulated. I say gas carbon dioxide will be recorded, and then you need to say temperature or volume of the fizzy ring must be kept constant throughout the experiment. So you need to you give a parameter for the experiment, so the experiment will be fair and the examiner know that the student understand. But here the student say measure the solution. Okay.
Mr. Billy,
Yeah.
I actually like mixed it up. So I wrote the variables first, then only I wrote what should be measured.
Where?
I first wrote what to control, then only I wrote the measurements you will make.
Okay. The gas stream and the highest volume is collected. So here also it mentioned the highest, the gas stream with the highest gas collected means that the solution got more. Yeah. So okay, let's see in the mark of the marking scheme people. Okay, so this one I give you 1 mark, and then let's go to the next point, how you will process your result. So the student say, okay, if you want to process it, you need to measure and record it, the carbon dioxide of each experiment. Okay, you get 1 mark. And then how you will use the result to draw the conclusion. The one with the most gas is the gas carbon dioxide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So eventually you got 6 mark, but this is a 7 mark question. But the student did correct you also did correct. Maybe you can elaborate more. For example, maybe for the measurement, you can say heat it up until when there is no more gas being produced, or wait for the apparatus to cool longer. Measure the volume of CO2 and the drink. Okay, so
I already wrote that, like record the volume of carbon dioxide.
so roughly this will be the marking scheme. So you need to get 7 points from here. So I just follow this and I just mark this whichever that I feel that it touches the answer at here, then you get 1 point. Then after I do, then I just found it's total of 6 points then there's no more point that I can give. So that's it. For example, especially the highlight one is maybe more important. Measure the mass loss, measure the volume of CO2. This usually in marketing, when they highlight it means underline it means it is very compulsory for you to answer that. But so far so good. So good you 7, you get 6 is still very good. Number 4, a student investigate the period of the pendulum and its length change. So this one he want to investigate what? Okay, investigate this is a very common experiment, the length and the time. How the period, the time, we are talking about period, the time. So usually the hypothesis is the longer the length, the more time is taken, the shorter the length. So this experiment is the Science 101 year 7. Correct or not? This is your first experiment that you study when you are young, if you still remember that. Measure the length, so the answer is 5.0. Of course the student write 4.7. It's still the reason is correct because the student print out the paper. Okay, he print out the paper, so he didn't get the actual scale, but it's still okay 5.0. But if you put 5, then it will be wrong. So it must be to the 1 decimal point. Okay, either 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. It cannot be 5, then you get wrong. Okay, so it's a trick question. Since it's 5.0, I can imagine many students write 5 and they will get this wrong. It's supposed to be 5.0 because it need to be 1 decimal point, like your mathematics the mathematics, they ask you to give your answer in 1 decimal point, but you give in 0 decimal point, so your answer is still wrong because this is not following the instruction of the question. Figure 4.1, draw a 1/10 of the length, calculate. This one the student didn't do. Yep, so the student do is correct. I thought the student didn't see the question. Okay, it's correct because it's asked in the page 10. So page 10 you write 47. It's supposed to be 50.0 lah, but because the student print out the paper, so it's 47. But never mind lah, because you print out the paper, there's nothing much you can do for this one. So you get 1 point for this one. Very good. Just draw this first. The man measure 10 couple and repeat the experiment. 2 mark. So the student write this properly. 14.18, 14.16. You get this correct. Okay. 14.18, 14.16. Mathematics lah. I don't need to go into this lah. I think you guys know. Okay. This one is correct. So you get 2 mark. Calculate the average time for 10 oscillation. And correct is 14.17 the average time. We are not going to do detail how to calculate, and there's not even a working because it's only 1 mark. If 2 mark, then you show your working. I know you know how to do, but if 2 mark, please show your working. Okay. And also the unit is properly labeled already. Okay. So just something to be careful. Sometimes the question will give you empty, and then if empty means you need to put the labeling here, and student might miss it, then you didn't get any mark for this one. Okay. Calculate period T and T2. So the answer for T and T2 is actually 1.417 and 2.101. Okay, so the answer will be 2.01 lah, because the student write 2.00, so the student didn't get any mark for this because there is no half mark in IGCSE, either correct or wrong only. The student did the experiment with the length 40, 35, 25 and 20. Her result is recorded. Describe one precaution. Why you want to take 10 timing? Do you want problem should take to ensure her timing of 10 complete are accurate as possible? So these are the marking scheme. Again, this one question maybe there are few answers, but that's why it lists out now, like retort, stand upright, line drawn on the card, any sensible description that show that the time of the point in swing is the same as the point in swing. So I didn't give any mark because so of course retort stand upright is the retort stand this thing, and actually I don't know what to give correct or wrong, but never mind lah. For me to easy marks, I give you wrong lah. But maybe you get correct in the exam because here say that any sensor you have to show the time, but here it say observe the same angle and view. So I don't know whether this can be interpreted as time or not time. So that's why I don't know what to give correct or wrong. Okay, but never mind lah. It's just a practice only. But you write retort stand upright is the best lah. It's since in the marking scheme already. Okay. Explain why is it better 10. Of course you want to take 10 because to avoid annual result. Okay, to ensure more accurate. If you take 100 even better. So it will be I cannot take 100 lah, but it will be more accurate. And one more time is you can say also anything relate to human reaction time. Okay, because human error, human reactions or difficult to start, difficult to stop, anything relate to human reaction, so you get 1 mark. So the student only mentioned 1, so the student only get 1 mark. Okay. The next question D, on a blah blah blah, plot a graph T2 against L. So you plot it correctly, very good. Okay, so as long as the scale is correct and the dotted line is correct, then you get 2 points. Draw a best fit line. So the student draw a best fit line. Okay, so this one I need to take away this 1 point because the marking scheme say starting from 0. So you need to start from 0 lah. You start from 0. Describe the relationship between L and M. Okay, is directly proportional will be the answer. Okay, it's supposed to be T2 is directly proportional with to L. Okay, I know increase then decrease, but if you know mathematics, directly proportional it means that it's a straight line, it's a directly proportional. So that would be a better answer for this question. So that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.